Hey guys, it's Lovelxce, and it's time for another video. Welcome to Lovelxce Astrology. I'll be looking at singer Sean Kingston's legal situation with his mother. What's going on with that? Let's see how this is shown up in the skies above. Now, let's get into it. I made this chart a few days after their arrest on May 26, 2024, while seeing news about it, as it piqued my interest.
Jamaican-American singer Sean Kingston, best known for his 2007 hit Beautiful Girls, is being held at the High Desert Detention Center in Adelanto, California, after a SWAT team raided his Florida home mansion. It was there in South Florida that his mother, 61-year-old Janice Turner, was arrested on fraud and theft charges. Turner and her attorney appeared before a judge Friday morning. She faces 8 charges, including grand theft, fraud, and organized scheme to defraud.
Criminal use of personal identification information. Count 7, grand theft greater than $100,000. And count 8, criminal use of personal identification information. I do find probable cause.
Kingston, whose real name is Keyshawn Anderson, was arrested without incident in San Bernardino County. He was performing at a park in Fort Irwin, more than 30 miles outside of Barstow. Several items were seized during the raid on his home in Florida. An attorney present during the raid filed a lawsuit against Kingston, accusing him of paying only $30,000 for a 17-foot TV system that cost $150,000.
In this chart, Leo, a sign related to entertainment, is rising, which makes Sean represented as the sun. He sees himself as a king, so he would probably love that. Observing the sun here, we find elucidating information about Sean, and there are lots of clouds in these skies. The sun is joined to a fixed star I haven't gotten to mention in a while, Prima Iatum. This star is malefic, meaning it'll have a negative indication, said to bring sudden events, reversals, tears, sometimes violence. Indeed, he's experiencing a reversal of fortune, going from beloved singer of Beautiful Girls to alleged serial fraudster who was facing many criminal counts from different states. His planet in the 11th house says to me, especially with the sun also representing how he makes money, is that he is dependent on supporters, friends, and fans, and has an impressive, attractive influence on them. And most of this support is garnered through his words, music, and media, as Gemini would suggest. But he's not alone in these endeavors in this situation. His planet, the sun, is joined to Venus. Joined means conjunction, symbolizing partnership, likely a woman behind the scenes. Who is Venus? His mother is Venus, as the 4th house of family is in Libra. Venus speaks of a female family member, very significant in the situation, which of course is his mother. The moon always represents mothers and will describe her energies too. I found these planets together very intriguing, mirroring the situation and showing them extremely close. His mother likely worships and adores him. Venus can also show sought after material goods, and I find this resonating here, showing that he acquires things through his family and his mother's help or partnership. This is especially true because the 11th house these planets are in is associated with acquiring things in life through supporters and those that love you, often for free or easily. This conjunction shows his mother and family highly influence him.
Yo, Wagwan, it's your boy Sean Kingston. Everything Everyday Sauce is out right now. Make sure you go support it.
Right now.
Do I need that to record? Can I get a regular phone and record it?
Using the moon to represent her, it is inauspicious because the moon rules the 12th house in this chart. This house, most relevantly for this situation, represents imprisonment and deeds we do that are not ecological. By that I mean, they can harm yourself and others. Know that the moon always represents the situation overall in these types of charts, so again, she's shown to have a great influence on him and how things play out. The 12th house also confirms that the influence is inclined to be self-defeating, and a strong reason he is currently threatened with imprisonment. I think this representation will also show them having similar fates. The theme of imprisonment for criminal deeds concerning his mom is true to life, as she pled guilty in 2006, just a year before Sean's music career took off, to bank fraud for stealing over $160,000 through fraudulent loan applications. She served nearly 1.5 years in prison, according to federal court records. Judgment remains until they face their fair days in court if they are fraudsters. The recent claims against them are nearing conclusion, but not quite there yet. The warrants in the case say that from October 2023 to March of 24, they stole almost $500,000 in jewelry, more than $200,000 from Bank of America, $160,000 from the Escalade dealer, more than $100,000 from First Republic Bank, and $86,000 from the maker of customized beds. Specifics were not given. Let's look at Neptune, a planet very relevant to their situation today, which has some things to say, especially as it is at the critical 29th degree in Pisces. Here's a clip of App, or AP the jeweler, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. His testimony on how he was enchanted and duped when doing business with Kingston, claiming he was scammed for $125,000. His mother and Sean lavishly flew him in to do business and seemingly treated them to stay at their mansion.
How much money worth of jewelry did you make for Sean Kingston?
About $250.
$250,000? Damn, that's a lot of ice.
Yeah, he gave me half and he tried he tried to spin me on the other half.
So did you ever get the other half, or?
Nah.
Damn.
Wow, what a...
Did you get the jewelry back, or y'all settled?
Nah, it's still an open situation.
How dare
But he owes me the money.
So he owe you what, 125,000, 150,000?
About 125.
125?
Yeah. So like rappers always feel like, they want you to do something for them special because of who they are. I came out there, I met them, I came to the house. He's like, where's the stuff? I'm like, where's the money? He's like, oh, I got the money, it's coming this mail, let's show me the jewelry. So I see like his mom's here, his family's here, his little kids running around. I'm like, I don't think nobody's gonna try to, it doesn't look like that type of environment where people are gonna play with their family, So I showed him the jewelry, whatever. He liked it, he wanted it. He wanted me to give it to him, but he didn't have all the money. He maybe had like 40 or 50 grand. That's 10% of what you're trying to buy. So every day, now it's like, he's like, oh, I'm gonna get more money tomorrow. Oh, I got a check coming in. Oh, I got this coming in. Oh, I got this deal, that deal, this deal. He's like bird feeding me like 12,000, 14,000, 16,000, 8,000. But mind you, while he's doing this, he's spending thousands and thousands of dollars on lean. You know what I'm saying? Like, people coming by, he's spending like 10,000 on lean. I'm like, damn, bro, like you owe me so much money. Like, no, I got you. Eventually, he gave me half the money. So he gave me like about $250, right? And he's like, I'm about to sell my Range Rover and go to Jamaica to do a show. When I come back, I'll give you the rest of the money. Stay in our house, stay here. You got the private chef, you got whatever you need. I'm like, just sign the car over to me to knock the tab down, He's like, all right. So his mom, it was in his mom's name. His mom signed the car over to me. We got notarized, whatever. That shit was a scam. They still owe money on the car. They can't even legally sell the car. They left to Jamaica. I'm sitting in the house, and 3 days later, I hear somebody like coming up the steps. I'm like, what the hell going on? I'm saying? I look, it's a lady, and she's showing people the house. Like, oh, it's a pool in the back over here, 4-bedroom. Like, what the hell's going on? You know what I'm saying? And she's like, oh, who are you? I'm like, who are you? She's like, oh, I told Janice everybody has to leave by 4 p.m. on Wednesday. And Janice is his mom. I'm like, what the hell? Oh, what you mean? This is like Airbnb, honey. They don't own this house. They're like leases up. And the whole time, like, even Safari, he did tell me, he was like, bro, make sure you get your money up front. Like, he's like, they like to play them games. Like, the whole family, like, make sure you get paid, bro.
He certainly seems disillusioned. Isn't it interesting that one of Kingston's friends, Safari, even warned AP about doing business with them? You can view the full interview on Drea O's channel. A representative of Verver Entertainment who provided and recently repossessed a 17-foot TV from Kingston had this to say.
He has basically a sales pitch that he goes through to defraud people. He induces them into giving him really expensive things. This is organized, systematic fraud.
I mean, how does it operate?
So he works, he tells a story. He's got basically a script. He says that he works with Justin Bieber and that he obviously puts on a big show here. This is a rental house in Edmonton. And he lures people using his celebrity into having them release things without him paying for it, and then he simply never pays. He says he's going to use it for his personal use. But he said that, he's going to produce commercials and Snapchats and all kinds of different things with Justin Bieber for my clients, and that's typically the spiel that he has for everybody. He never pays for anything. He sends bogus methods of payments. He says that he's going to pay. In my case, he said that he was sending a $40,000 wire, and he sent a picture of it to my clients, but it was fraudulent and never materialized.
So your client never got the money?
No.
The lot of fortune is a point that describes material wealth and how it is acquired or denied, and it is in Pisces. The connection to Neptune in Pisces is again illusions of wealth, illusions concerning wealth. Either way, Neptune changing signs says this theme is coming to an end. The jig is up. Sean's planet, the Sun in Gemini, as I mentioned earlier, also represents his financial situation. At present, the chart says he makes money through his voluntary or involuntary supporters, which are anyone that he's able to get money or property from and sympathetic. And the Neptune and Jupiter connections speak of some income related to the arts. I see him have living good for a while on some level, but it was through the help and gifts of others, not independently, and the wealth isn't real. Here are a few incidences over the years to explain further.
Talk about embarrassing. Sean Kingston's Bentley got repossessed on the streets of Hollywood in front of everybody. Sean's night out took a humiliating turn when his pricey ride got taken away on Sunset Boulevard in the heart of Hollywood. According to TMZ, Sean valeted his car at the Mondrian Hotel in West Hollywood last night. The valet kept his car out front because it's impressive. They always do this with expensive celebrity rides. Well, this probably didn't help Sean, but it sure helped the repo guys. They backed in their tow truck and hooked up the Bentley in a matter of seconds. Someone alerted Sean and he came right out, but it turned even more embarrassing because he started arguing with the repo man, begging and yelling, "I paid for it already." It really didn't matter what he said though, the repo guys took it away anyway. According to TMZ, he took an Uber home.
Sean Kingston is being sued today for flossing and not paying, and for some reason, I get the impression that those two do not mix. Now, according to Aquamaster in New York, Kingston is being sued for over 9 pieces of jewelry worth more than $300,000. God damn, that's a lot of money. Now, the jeweler said, that Sean said, "Let me go ahead and get this $300,000 worth of jewelry and I will wire you the money right back." But for some reason, instead of Sean wiring the money right back, he sent him 2 checks that bounced like pogo sticks.
Where you off to?
I'm off to your girl house.
That's Sean Kingston at LAX, joking with our camera guy about stealing his girl. Just like how he jokes with jewelers about stealing their jewels. Okay, that joke might have gone too far.
Oh, and a lot of people say that. They say I owe on jewelry and I'll be paying people.
Oh, really? We hadn't heard.
But that's all rumors because at the end of the day, if I was broke, I wouldn't be spending, $25,000 a month out here living in LA. I spent over millions of dollars with them, and just because, I might be late on one payment, I'm going to sue them off for being late on one payment. That's not right.
Well, that is kind of how payments work, but
you're going to have a time in your career where stuff gets slowed down and, you're not doing as much shows, and the jeweler is supposed to be able to say, okay, you know what, since you spent over $1 million, let me wait till everything, get right.
R&B and hip-hop superstar Sean Kingston gets his vehicles repossessed in Jamaica.
The construction, boy. So the man them set up a circle for Sean Kingston machine them. See them there? GLE, Coupe, Range Rover, SVR. The one that go up at the yard, soldier and everybody. I just come dig them out of the garage.
He got
2 watches on consignment from this jeweler company called Dream Watch, right? He got a Richard Mille for like 500 racks, and then a Philippe, I can't even pronounce it because I can't afford it. But anyways, he got that watch for like 300K, you feel me? They say the 2 watches was flown in and delivered from Malaysia. Upon arrival, Sean Kingston agreed to buy the watches through a wire transfer that was denied. He claimed that the account was frozen and ended correspondence with the company without paying the full total.
Saturn near the lot of fortune is a blight for Sean, showing money problems, a taking away of things. Saturn doesn't do well in Pisces because it is sobering reality and limitations versus fantasies and escape. I see all these things considered above and down below. He's overcompensating for what he lacks. This is information similar to my recent reading on Krishan Rock, where Saturn and Pisces had similar meanings, and an overall message that she critically needed to be honest about her situation. With what we know about Sean as well, I see Saturn showing here old dwindling money, like the kind from a career past its prime, and Kingston confirmed in the earlier clip it had likely been happening since at least 2017. Celebrity Worth says his net worth is around $500,000. Saturn's indication will hit hardest to things ruled by Neptune and Jupiter in this chart. That would be expensive legal issues, contracts and agreements made with people, and difficulty making money through art and music.
You know, you're not doing as much shows, and the jeweler is supposed to be able to say, okay, you know what, since you spent over $1 million, let me wait till everything, get right.
What I said for Sean is augmented by the aspect Sun squares Saturn. This shows his money earning potential, further limited by others, especially public enemies, such as lawsuit opponents. Here are likely manifestations. The most likely of it is the people reclaiming through repossessions and lawsuits, and I feel if all these allegations are true, it's sensible the other is that he does not get the opportunities he once had because of his reputation and government intervention. Financially forward, his money ruler changes from the Sun to Mercury and Taurus in the 10th house. For Sean's situation, I see this showing his money/property being seized by the government. An expensive taste, a source of those money problems. Leo rising in this chart definitely describes a taste for the exquisite. This excessive desire for the greatest of the greatest is in his natal chart, as he has Jupiter retrograde in Cancer. Cancer says again, the maternal figure, parents, family could have highly influenced this tendency as well as the emotions. He also appears to have a deep obsession with the expensive cars, which must be shown by the Mercury conjunct Venus retrograde, sextile Pluto in Scorpio aspect. Tarot and astrology. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's continue on. I pulled some tarot cards about his relationship with his mother, not diving too deep into personal details of course, but the first card that came up was the Wheel of Fortune, a Jupiter-related card. This card speaks of changing fortunes for them to me, and some say this is a card of reaping what you sow, a card of karma. This card also has some positive indications of chance and luck. Kingston was allowed to bond out using a home he must actually own as collateral, and after being extradited back to Florida, a judge gave him permission to fly with his mother to Africa of all places for, quote, business purposes, which seems pretty lenient. Their planets, the Sun and Venus in the 11th house, a house of wishes being granted, and Jupiter moving into this house is a boon, apparently showing a wish granted of freedom for now. However, Jupiter isn't just good energy in this chart here, and I'll explain more about that later. The other show of freedom for a while is the lunar mansion that the moon is in. Lunar mansions show influences in the situation. At 14 degrees Capricorn, it is in the mansion Sad Gula, the fortunate aviator. That name is interesting considering the context. Said to be good for healing, divorce, obtaining freedom. Not good for marriage and personal relationships or contracts. Essence, conflict, separation, freedom, healing. Christopher Warnock, a notable astrologer, says this mansion tells us to examine our current situation closely and be willing to break free from an untenable position. Untenable means a position that cannot be defended from criticism. An untenable position for Sean for his situation would be being convicted of fraud and perhaps claiming to have it like that. Next, we have the Six of Pentacles, called the Lord of Material Success in Hermetic Tarot, and associated with the Moon in Taurus. Of course, I will tie this card into my chart, as I see it expressing a very materialistic mother with high influence, and money/property coming from the generosity of others and favors. Lastly, about the relationship, the Ace of Cups reversed turned up. I see this as showing they are repressing true emotions about the situation in the relationship. One source said trouble making money from art. Another, that it's associated with obstacles and emotional dissatisfaction in career. There's one more card I pulled, but I'll save it for the next part.
Sean, did you steal jewelry? Sean, did you steal furniture? Sean, did you defraud people?
All right, go over here.
Did you run a scheme? Did you run a scheme to defraud people? Sean Kingston.
Watch your step! Watch your step! Yeah.
We tried to ask him questions over and over again for about 3 or 4 minutes. The only question that he answered was as he was getting in the Maybach that pulled up to take him away. I asked him if he owned that Maybach or if it's rented, and he told me it is mine. Check the license plate. He is facing felony charges. He's accused of running an organized scheme to defraud, fraud, grand theft, as well as several other charges. His mom is also facing charges.
So what's happening for Kingston and his mother moving forward overall? As an interpretation of the stars, of course. Regarding imprisonment, they are already on their way there and in the clutches of it. He was charged with violating the probation he was already on, and they've already been arrested for new charges. That's why I say it is lucky he was even out and about. I'm not sure the Lunar Mansion statement of freedom is enough long term. Career-wise, it's inauspicious. Mars will represent his career moving forward, and his reputation. And it's joined to a Greek lot, which represents a theme at play, end of things. In my reading on Diddy, he had a similar configuration for his career. This could be saying Kingston is at the twilight of his career, but I think it means for certain that his reputation is changing, that he's more known for these alleged fraudulent activities. And in a Mars and Aries fashion, this ending will come quickly and strongly. A tarot card I pulled about the future was the Chariot reversed. It speaks of them unable to move forward as they wish in a situation. And I get the vibe of this reversed movement, possibly meaning going back to jail, and more permanently. This card often represents cars in real life. I think here it's confirming an obsession with expensive vehicles he can't afford being a major issue, and also showing his cars getting generally repossessed. Sean, his mother, and lawyers state confidently that things will work out for them, but I don't see that as the case overall, as the Chariot reverse suggests. They are putting on airs again and maintaining that facade I spoke of earlier. I could be wrong, but the Moon trine Mercury and square Mars and sextile Saturn while in Capricorn speaks of imprisonment and things moving in favor of the authorities and the people suing Kingston's wishes. They appear to want Kingston and his mother to pay serious consequences for their alleged fraud. I ended up being correct, and it's more severe than I expected.
Sean Kingston and his mother have been indicted on federal wire fraud charges.
They appeared in court yesterday in Florida. Authorities say Kingston and his mother defrauded businesses, including a car dealership and a bank, for high-end goods exceeding $1 million. Kingston was arrested in California back in May. His attorney previously said he looks forward to a successful resolution.
In tonight's follow-up file, singer Sean Kingston and his mother appeared in a Miami federal courtroom today on wire fraud charges. If convicted, they face up to 20 years in prison for each of the 6 counts against
Diving
them.
deeper, it's reported the actual potential sentence is 120 years for each of them, Sean and his mother, for fraud. Wow. Other sources report the indictment specifically about wire fraud. They are accused of using fraudulent documents and false promises of payment. A very Gemini crime. Next, another ominous indication. Jupiter represents the 9th house in this chart, which is their legal proceedings and lawyers. Jupiter joined to the star Alcyone is inauspicious. This star is associated with sorrow and things not going the way you want. This is while Jupiter is joined to the Greek lot, which shows a theme at play, bondage, which I believe represents again imprisonment. So a message of things going negatively here. All things considered, Sean may have emotional issues related to his career that he expresses through buying, and acquiring things that make him look like he's at the place he wishes he was financially. I get the vibe the more trouble he has in his career, the more he spends. Whether he has it or not, he'll find a way. His mother and family support him in this strongly. This has all been happening for a long time, allegedly by the stars. I think he has an endearing side. There is a reason people were attracted to helping him, and hopefully he gets that emotional healing and becomes more realistic about his situation, which is looking very serious. It may be too late in some aspects, but this is the eventual outcome of loss and harsh consequences when people refuse the lessons of Saturn and are irresponsible, procrastinate, and on to their debts. Strong lessons I have experienced myself. Instead of humbling himself financially, he is now facing 120 years, a very Saturnine sentence. I can understand it being hard to accept your star has fallen and living more modestly after tasting fame and riches and living like a king, assumedly, but sometimes it must be done, at least for a while. Hopefully he gets it together. That's my reading about Sean Kingston and his mother's legal situation and energies as described by the stars. I hope you found it intriguing and all those other positive things. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see how this plays out. Which energy will win? Imprisonment or freedom?